Ever since TKO took over WWE a couple years ago, live ticket sales have skyrocketed and they've priced out their longtime fans. People are paying upwards to 10 grand just to sit in the lower bowl of these big shows. And somehow, Green Shirt Guy is making it to every single one of them. Well, today a report came out via Fightful that WWE aren't done yet. They plan on making things even more expensive. They think they can get a bigger ticket yield, which means a bigger price per ticket. They're not done gouging their fans and rinsing them for every goddamn cent that they got, and today we're gonna talk about it. My name is Dan Frampton. This is Wrestling Absorber Radio. Likes and subs, let's go. Oh man, you're gonna make me defend Vince McMahon with this one, aren't you? I really don't want to defend that guy, not even by a little, but I think I'm gonna have to at least a little bit when it comes to the ticket prices of these live events that are going on with the WWE, okay? TKO president and CEO Vince Shapiro came out and criticized Vince McMahon's pricing system. In an interview with Goldman Sachs, he said the following: WWE is not where UFC is on ticket yields. We have a lot of work to do there. We've seen a meaningful increase as evidenced by the 59% margin we did in the second quarter. Ticket sales and site fees play a big part in driving that. We know we have more room to grow. Why do we know that? UFC is breaking records everywhere they go. We have a lot of room there because Vince McMahon was primarily pricing tickets for families and wasn't totally focused on maxing the opportunity there. We see what we can do with the UFC, and we're replicating that in terms of ticket yield and advanced sales when it comes to on location on the WWE side. It's really working out well. This, my friends, is crazy. This is why. More room to grow, maximizing opportunities, and villainizing the long-term fan base that you have is a really interesting strategy over here. But apparently, according to Mark Shapiro, it's all working out well. We don't want the stinky families in the front row. Ew, no way. Not the kids, not the children, not the moms and dads, not the working class, not the people that have been going to wrestling since the 1920s. We don't want that crowd of people. No. We want Cybertruck driving, caviar eating tech bros at our show. We need day traders and celebrities, crypto jocks and alpha males. That is the primary audience of WWE. I'm not sure if WWE is familiar with what WWE is, okay? This is basically comic book storytelling in real life. Men and women lathered in baby oil, dripping soaking wet, out there in the middle of the ring, performing to an audience. They're not out there competing in a legitimate sport. This is athletic theater that started in the carnivals. This stuff was very much a carny experience for the longest time. And then came along Vince McMahon and he figured out a way to market it to the entire world. And now TKO is like, oh yeah, it's great that you did that whole thing, Vince McMahon. You marketed this thing to the entire world. Too bad about all those families that you filled these arenas with. And then every one of these big shows, they get an announcer to go into the middle of the ring and be like, we broke box office sales. New gate record set here tonight in London, in Paris, in New York, in LA. And all that means is you suckers paid more money for the same seat that you bought last year. They're rinsing ya. They're dragging ya. And it's so sad to see. They're making more money than they ever have. Money hand over fist. These live event ticket sales, they're breaking records everywhere they go, and they're saying, oh, we still have opportunities out there. Well, if WWE programming is to be believed, they have these announcers that are coming out there claiming that they're breaking all these records, all these gates being smashed, okay? But on the other end, TKO president and COO Mark Shapiro is saying, oh, I see it a little bit differently, actually. The future is tech bros. The future is basketball players. Not all celebrities out there are Macaulay Culkin. They're not all into wrestling. Not all basketball players are Tyrese Halliburton and are into it on that level. Sure, you might get Post Malone to come around for a bit and pretend to be into it for a little bit just to impress his jelly roll friend, but that's not what you should be basing all of this on. Yeah, sure, it's great that WWE is getting kind of this mainstream validation right now, but at what cost? Their entire audience? Very strange, very weird. I'm not even part of a family. And I find all of this very ridiculous and all of this very egregious. There was one video of Randy Orton meeting with fans outside of like WrestleMania or whatever. They get into talking. She tells Randy Orton that she paid 30 grand for her tickets, and Randy Orton's like, that is embarrassing. Why are you paying that much money? Like, these ticket prices are blowing the minds of the wrestlers that are wrestling on these shows. $30,000. That is insane. But where do you go for growth when you're already seeing full arenas and full stadiums? Well, it looks like you're just gonna need to charge more per ticket. And that looks like exactly what they're doing. Tickets in the lower bowl and on the ground floor of these big shows are starting at $10,000. And then if scalpers get their hands on them after that, who knows how much people are gonna be paying just to go to a wrestling show. Wrestling! Professional wrestling, everybody. $30,000. That's fucking insane. You know what pro wrestling is, right? So they're getting everything they've ever wanted, WWE. They're going to be on ESPN. They're going to have deals with Disney. They're going to be making all sorts of thousands of dollars per ticket, billions of dollars per TV deal. They're as legitimate of a thing as they've ever been, and all they had to do was sacrifice their long-term fans for it. Well, I hope it was worth it. And here comes the Vince McMahon defense that I really didn't want to do. I don't like that man or anything that he stands for, but he had his head on straight when it came to a couple things when it came to wrestling. He knew who enjoyed wrestling. Nerds, families, and mentally challenged individuals, and he catered everything to them. And it was really wonderful to see. He knew who the audience was, and he gave them that product. He priced the tickets so those fans, the people that enjoyed it to the max, could go there, because Vince McMahon knew that he could keep bringing them back and keep rinsing them for years to come. That's why there are lifelong wrestling fans. Vince McMahon knew how to create lifelong wrestling fans, how to create that emotional tie with people that was going to keep him and his company with generations to come. And this new way that TKO WWE is doing it isn't creating that same emotional attachment. It's more of like a flex. Oh, you were on the floor next to Post Malone. Oh, that's great. But the nerds, the families, and the special needs individuals are now being priced out of these events. You gotta be coming to these shows looking like NXT Bobby Roode over here. And I'll tell you this for free right now, it's not glorious. But on the other hand, when it comes to the non-live event ticket buying part of this whole thing, if you're outside of the United States, Netflix is a gorgeous deal. You get to watch everything there. You don't need to worry about all of these different subscription services. You don't need to worry about how confusing and expensive it can be. It's really easy and fun to be a wrestling fan outside of the US right now, because you don't really expect to be going to these shows anyway. You just want to watch them on TV. It's just a television program as far as I'm concerned. And over the last couple months, it's been kinda mid, not gonna lie. SmackDown and Raw kinda just doing the bare minimum, right? But now with the AJ Lee return and John Cena's face turn finally cooking, we might have some stories to be working with. Jey Uso, LA Knight, Rhea Ripley, Io Sky, The Vision, it's all kind of starting to cook right now from a character storytelling television show perspective. So I guess all the families, nerds, and special needs individuals just have to move to Canada and the UK if they want to enjoy wrestling. And I know I'm being very dismissive when I say that's all of WWE fans. I am just joking. I know the umbrella is a lot bigger than that. But the point that I'm trying to make is WWE's fan base aren't necessarily the kinds of people that are rolling in cash. They might have some disposable income every now and then, but not a huge chunk all the time. So I don't know if they're going to be creating these long-term fans unless they come from really rich families, because that live experience when you're a kid really does ignite something within you. But you know what else has room to grow? You know what else can be maximizing opportunities out here? This wrestling YouTube channel. Hit like, hit subscribe, and head on over to my main channel, Dan Frampton, all one word, the O's a zero, and check out the live streams I do in the evening time. I'm the guy that does play-by-play mosh pit commentary, where I take a look at mosh pits, but I call the action like it's professional wrestling. Well, the live streams are a lot more casual than that. We just sit back, we watch these sets, we watch these mosh pits, we get some requests going, and it's a good time. It would be a lot better of a time with some more wrestling fans in there. So head on over to the main channel and join the live streams in the evening time. I normally get started anywhere between 6 and 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. But I've been Dan Frampton, and that was my take on the WWE ticket price situation. Goodbye, see you later, and have a good one.